every single time I look at this tower, I am like absolutely amazed by like how tall it is and how tall or how filled in it is going to be. And just looking at the center of where all the spiral staircases are supposed to lead up to, amazing. Anyways, greetings fellow pack members, my name is Zubanir, and welcome back to the Shadow Castle series. Now, I understand there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. I did say that I was going to be doing a few things, but I came across a little something. And I don't know if I ended up showing this last time, I probably ended up showing it anyways. But I kind of made a pattern that I want to go ahead and keep for the barracks. Yep. A minute into recording and I have to go. So, anyways, you know the rules, and you know the saying. Probably don't even have to say it, but I'm going to say it anyways. Just give me a second. There you go, more time wasted. Alright, so anyways, remember how I said that this was going to be the most important room, only because of the fact that this was going to be the very first room that I would actually work on? Well, would you consider all of this to be a room? Not exactly. I would more likely call it just like the halls, instead of having it, as a room itself. But there are a few issues that I may have to address. Now, from this height, the ceiling is obviously huge, but if I go ahead and I just go and, let's see, I hate doing this. Basically, this would be, how short the characters would be. The only reason why is because the characters are not humans or animals. So if I were to go in here, the ceiling would be that tall. And I may not be keeping this. I may actually be changing this out, only because of the fact that I am already seeing some issues that I think that I'm going to have to fix. And you know how I had that entire fit about structural integrity? Yeah, that fit is coming back, and I am seeing a way to go ahead and actually fix it. So, I don't know if I would just put a fifth pillar. I don't know why I said third. I could probably just put a fifth pillar down the center right here, and make it a unique design based off of, well, semi-based off of this. Or what I could do is I could more than likely go ahead and build something else, or I could just leave this like that. So, with this being the Shadow Castle series, and with you guys who are subscribed to my channel actually seeing that this is the Shadow Castle series and that you want to see what's updating, I want you guys to put it in the comments of whether or not I should put the fifth pillar down, because to me, it's a matter of realism, which usually tends to ruin the mood of a fantasy-like look to it. So I don't know if adding a center pillar would ruin it, or if it would improve it, because I can always change these pillars so that way they're arcing. But technically speaking, they're all at a same distance. So I could have that same pattern in between these guys, and these guys, and these guys, and these guys, and all the way back around. So I could just keep on doing the same pattern over and over again. So, if you guys want me to add the 5th pillar, please let me know. Now, here's something that I really want to get into. So, yes, I understand the spiral staircase is not yet completed, but it almost is. I have a few gaps, or actually, no, I only have one gap. I used to have a few gaps. Oh no, I still do have a few gaps. I have a bottom gap, and I have a top gap. Now, the top gap is actually not that far. It's actually going to be very easy to fill in. And here's the reason why. Because up here is basically the start of my transportation system. Sorry, itchy nose. So, just so I remember everything, this is going to be the garden. Going down here in this direction, this will be the farm. And going over here in this direction, this will be the mines. And going over in this direction, this will be the dungeon. So this track will lead straight to the dungeon. And the rails, I've had a very hard time trying to figure this out. Give me 1 second because my dog wants out. And I literally meant 1 second. And I said 1 second, I actually meant it. It's very difficult to figure out because there is so many different tracks that I have to go ahead and put down and so many lines. So, here's what I can do. I can have a line, one line, running straight through here. Let's say coming from the mines and going all the way back to the dungeon around this way would be line 1. Now, line 1 is also attached to directly from the mine to the dungeon, so of course that will be connected. Gosh, what is with my nose? Damn allergies. And I'll have line 2 directly from the mines to here, and then mine all the way to the garden. So there is line 2. Line 3, of course, would be dungeon to here and here, all the way to the farm. Now, here is another option which I had in mind. So, I could have 2 separate lines on this side instead, where line 1 stops here, and line 2 continues all the way around. Line 3 stops here, and line 4 continues all the way around. And, in case you haven't been able to see my messages, and in case you haven't been able to see the title, I have some news for you guys. And it's basically the same question that everyone's been asking me, and that's the message I just received. Do I have PlayStation Plus? The answer is yes, I do. However, there are limitations. Unfortunately, I can't just go on and play online every time that I feel like it. Obviously, because I want to go ahead and actually do a few things, like, for example, this. My friends have the newer version of Minecraft, which I don't exactly feel comfortable playing with entirely, because 1, it's just a new version. I never really got the chance to play with it. And 2, as far as I've been able to play the newer version, I kind of like this version better, because there's a little bit more freedom to what you can do. And yes, the better version, or newer version, sorry, I keep on saying better version, is a little bit faster with putting blocks down and breaking them. But I kind of like the slow pace to it, because it's basically evenly paced. So, This will all be laid down with track. It'll be line 1 and 2. And then line 3 and 4 will be the second tracks laid out. So as soon as I get the dungeon and the mines done, I will be connecting them with the track. As soon as I'm able to do one more thing up here. And that is to basically close in this entire main structure. As soon as this entire main structure and the barracks has a roof, and as soon as this tower is all sealed up, and as soon as this courtyard is done, I will start working fully on the dungeons, the mines, the garden, and the farm. And I have a friend who wishes to join me in a party, so if you could give me 1 second. Alright, so both microphone and gameplay are being recorded. And I should have a friend coming on here in a little bit. Not on the map, but in voice chat. So, just a quick little update on the Shadow Castle series. I know it's only a very short video, but what I'm probably going to be doing is... Actually, you know what? I don't know if my friend would really mind if he went onto here. I don't know if he would... I don't know. I don't know what he would like to do. Ah, there you are. Yep, there you go. I am doing a live stream, so, language. Yeah, you saw. You saw the size of the tower that I'm building? Yeah, I've been working on it for how long now? Hold on, I actually have to look at the first video that I posted. I have everything in, playlist, so... So I think I made the first video in May last year. So, yeah, this May is going to be the 1 year. I would have been making this thing for 1 year now. And, you already saw that I have like 3 caverns piled up on top of each other and where the spiral staircase is, right? Here you are, alright. So, yeah, that's... To 9. What time is it right now? 8:25. I don't know, you want to come on here? Yeah, sure. It's the old version, so... Found that? And I don't think a lot of people that have friends on here are actually seen the entire castle, or actually taking a good look at where everything is supposed to be. So it's probably going to be fun for him. Now, just to give you the heads up, I am not using my map on this map, only because of the fact that I want a before and after photo. But I'm guessing Tyler is not joining? I know, he's been on and off with texting. And it took me like half an hour for him to go ahead and actually get my attention. Or for me to get his attention, sorry. There you are. Why do you look like a tennis player? it's funny. Alright, well, you are welcome to go ahead and look around. But as you can see, I'm going to be talking and working at the same time. So, where the spiral staircase stops, which is right about here, is where the top floor is supposed to be. And I still have no idea what I'm doing above the tower, so I don't know if I'm going to be continuing, my gosh, I don't know if I'm going to be continuing this any further upwards, or if I'm just going to leave it like this. But the only reason why that pillar is standing right there is so I know my height limit. But it looks freaking, scary as hell when you're looking at it from the edge right there. That's what she said. So, I don't care if you, Tyler, have any interest in this whatsoever. But if you guys do want to come on here from time to time and you guys feel like you want to just screw around and help me out a little bit, then you guys are welcome to. But, yeah, this is a year's worth of work and planning, and this took me about an entire week to go ahead and dig out and actually shape. And I landed in the perfect spot that allowed me to go ahead and jump right on top of 3 caverns that are just stacked on top of each other. So after the spiral staircase in the bottom half is done, I'm actually going to be putting down the stairs themselves, and I'm going to be making sure that I can walk up them. You know, you could just, like... Yeah, no, a little bit higher right here. There you go. Yeah, I think I hit, like, the best spot to go ahead and do this, because originally it was taking me a little while, to go ahead and look for the right map, and I think that I couldn't find a better map than this, because there's plenty of flat land, besides for, frickin' hill that I have to go ahead and take out all the way up top, over by where the courtyard's supposed to be. But other than that, everything else seems to be perfectly fine. It's mostly flat, so there's not a lot of obstacles I'm going to have to go through, and I'm not really going to be shaping most of the land anyways, which is why that having a very, very large snow biome is going to be very beneficial for effect. But I have been doing the walls, but mostly what I want to try and figure out is getting the second floor situated to make sure that everything is exactly where it's supposed to be. Walls I could do later, as long as I have enough light to go ahead and do what I need to do on the insides first, which is why I haven't really been putting up the walls on the in the middle yet. I just need the extra lighting, because if you go ahead and look in the one section where I actually walled in and put the ceiling in, then you'll be able to see that there's not a lot of lighting. And that the majority of the lighting towards the center is just this right here. originally I had each and every single section with its own floor pattern, and then I decided that it looked like crap and just kept the one in the middle. But yeah, this side, especially this side, was a pain in the neck. I don't know if you can see it, but where all the dirt used to be, or where all the dirt is, sorry, that was the entire river. Or at least a good portion of it, at least closer to the right in between the sand and the cobblestone right here. It was a freaking pain in the neck trying to fill it in because it's a snow biome, so there's always going to be ice packed up in here. And later on, when I am done with everything over here and get the courtyard, start working on that, I'm going to dry this entire place up and see if I can go ahead and flatten it out. Yeah. And I have another series that I'm working on, except because I haven't been working on it for a very long time. Basically, I started that around the same time as I started this. I've been focusing more on this than I have been on the other series, and with the other structure that I'm trying to build, it's almost supposed to be as big as this, except it's going to be a tiny bit smaller because it's not a castle or a kingdom. It's supposed to be a very large village, close to the point where you could basically call it a city. But that's a little bit harder planning because everything in that game is laid out spherically. So all the layering of each and every single section within that village is a giant sphere. So trying to get all of that pixelated and laid out correctly is a pain in the neck, especially when I have to get to the outer layers. Oh my god. So I more than likely would probably need more help on that than this, but as soon as the spheres are laid out, then it's not going to be that big of an issue. So I've been talking with Tyler recently on planning for this, and what I am thinking, from what he said, is that I'm probably going to be putting down mostly carpets for floor design, and on the outside of the castle, when the walls are done, I'm going to add an extra layer, and I'm going to make it a little bit darker than the gray cobblestone, just so it's not all a single pattern color. And on the inside, I'm going to add a little bit of extra texture to it, so the walls will be basically 3 blocks thick, center being cobblestone, outside being the decoration, and on the inside being an interior decoration. And as for the tower, it's going to be separated into a couple layers. So the reason why second layer is this high is because I'm doing it by every single time the spiral staircase lands on the block right here on this side. So this would be layer 3, and then this is layer 4, layer 5, and so on. And what's going to happen is on the outside of the tower, there's going to be a specific exterior hallway that goes around that's going to be lit with torches, and on the inside, there's going to be a larger room, which is all supposed to be connecting to a separate room, which is connected to the spiral staircase. And after, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So starting from ground floor all the way up, there's about 20 floors, not including any extensions that I'm probably going to be putting up in the near future up top. And each floor is going to be its own unique design with its own unique purpose. And, of course, I have to continue all the way down here. So, a lot of work that still has to be done, but basically everything else is still laid out. Everything has been measured out. I've been trying to mark where everything is supposed to be. And even after everything on the inside of the castle and the kingdom is done, I still have to work on the inner walls and the exterior wall. So what's going to happen is towards the back, around the barracks on either side, there's going to be a connection between two different walls and the main section of the castle itself. There's going to be a thin layer, which will be the interior wall, and there's going to be a thick layer, which will be the exterior wall. And I believe I have a beacon separating interior and exterior. So the furthest point that the exterior wall is going to be from the castle is going to be at this beacon, and I can't see you. I'm at the furthest one, over here. I see you. Just keep going straight down the middle from the walkway, right there. There you are. So this is going to be the innermost wall, and the outermost wall is going to be running straight through this forest. And it's going to be going all the way around, basically past the horizon line on the left-hand side, going all the way back to where the castle is, moving back into the castle and right next to the inner wall. So all of it can be connected, shifts are rotated, and everything can basically work in orderly fashion. I mean, this is year one. Well, looking at it now, with the main, well, because this year was also mostly me trying to figure out where everything is supposed to be, because I have mostly been working in this area for the entire year, or most of the year, where everything else was just kind of a light touch-up on a few of the areas on the left-hand and the right-hand side, seeing how far the biome reaches and trying to draw out a map of that. And the other thing is that with most of this year being me planning, if I actually had the time to do it, I would probably have this done in less than a year, if I devoted all of my time to this. But it's amazing how much free time, or how much I could do within my free time within only a couple, or a few months actually. And all this is actually based off the story that I was writing in high school. Remember that? Okay, so in high school, I started writing a story, and the structure of the castle and the kingdom, and of course the village in the other series, is all based off of the book. I have finished planning 3 series, but I have not started writing the second story. I've started writing the first story, but I haven't started writing the second story yet. First chapter is just about done. Second chapter, I'm still tweaking a bit. I'm still tweaking on that a little bit. I'm writing several different separate segments of the story. And, let's see, what else? I have a little bit of the second story written somewhere, except it's part of the older version, so the perspective of the story is similar to what I want, except the character names were the original character names that I decided to put down. And yes, it is fun flying right off the side of the tower. Except what I hate is that in the newer version, the updated version, you can't really do that anymore. The only way you can go up and down is with the X or with the R3. Yeah, and I hate it too. But yeah, it's kind of fun just like gliding around in the area over here. See, what I like about this game is that it's more peaceful and relaxing and not like frickin' Far Cry 4, where I'm constantly frustrated to try and just drive down the road without being shot at. And I don't even think you saw that video, did you? Where I posted in the group chat? No, you didn't. Well, in the group, in the group chat, what I did was I ended up posting the time where I basically got, like, extremely scared. And I think everyone remembers this. Snow Leopard jumped out of the corner of the screen, and I basically just started putting 8 rounds of a sniper rifle into it. And it took the 8th one to kill it. Oh yeah, yeah. That was this is the other thing too that took me a long time. And what it is actually me filling in several different cave systems. This is the only cave system, besides the caverns, that is currently running underneath the castle. There used to be about 15 different cave systems, and I had a really, really, really big one off to the side where the barracks are, left side. And this is the only one that I have been able to find so far, so this is cave number 15. Out of the other 14 that used to be on the right side, on the left side, and I went in, and while I was outlining all the different sections that I have to go ahead and basically cut out in order for me to do the courtyard, I found a few more caves where I just basically decided to fill it in and just have it all lined up with the walking level. So I have this entire area split into 6 different sections. So the first 4 are supposed to be very even and easy, and the one in the back is going to be the hardest one because it's the highest from walking ground level, and it's also the thickest area that I have to go ahead and take out. The only issue with me using TNT is the fact that I need to make sure that I'm not causing too much damage to the area where I'm supposed to be putting the courtyard pieces down. So, of course, I have to do it the long way, burn the trees, and basically do all of this by hand, which I have been doing for the past several months now. So, it does suck, but honestly, if you put your time into it, and you find a way to go ahead and cut around the corners like this took me a very good portion of my time, because I've been working on flattening this area even after working on flattening the river area, because mostly that was just me blasting concrete and sand blocks. After that, it was just me filling up the river. That was it. But this was literally on the side of a hill. So I had to go ahead and cut off this entire section. This entire section, I had caves running off into the side of these areas. So I had one cave in this corner right here. I had another cave, I believe it was running right along here. And I also had 2 separate caves. One was running off the side over here, and one was running in ground right about here. So in other words, yes, it's a lot of work, but you can see how much I've been able to get done, and if you actually stick here long enough to see it completed, you'll know that it was very, very worth it for me just to go ahead and have everything completed. But I actually do have sketches. This is to everyone else watching. I do have sketches of the actual structure. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing my best to get all the recordings of my next art project, which I do apologize for not having the previous one, but I did post it on Facebook. What I'm supposed to be doing is another project, and it's actually supposed to be the book cover to the story. The only issue that I have with that is that I'm only going to be showing several different parts of it, because of the fact that, 1, it's showing the title of the story, and I really don't feel like having anyone steal the title or idea. And 2, most of the builds here have basically been a very brief description of everything that's going on in the story, and the majority of the story is actually not inside the structures. These are just some of the main structures that I think that would be really worth building and actually taking my time on. So of course, as soon as I'm able to go ahead and get everything done, I'm just going to go ahead and do a little bit of artwork. Basically, a speed sketch, just to show you guys something that I'll be working on. And I'll be doing a final touch with colored pencil and graphite on an 11 by 14 Bristol. And thank God I got new colored pencils in. Got a 150 colored pencil set for a really good deal. It used to be 200. It's now only 93 on Amazon. It's called Prismacolor Premier. It's a really, really good professional set of colored pencils, only because of the fact that it has a certain concentration of pigment inside of it that makes it a lot easier for you to go ahead and blend colors. And for those of you that were wondering what paper I was using in the picture that I posted, that is a smooth Bristol, and usually that's the best paper to go ahead and work with when doing things like this, only because of the fact that it's a lot easier to go ahead and mix the colors. Except it's also a lot harder because of the fact that once you get too much pigment onto the paper, it is very hard to replace it and blend it with another color. So it's very, very, very hard to go ahead and make sure that you're doing everything by the rules to make sure that the picture is going to be coming out the way that you want it to. So, that's that. One thing that I was also talking with Tyler that he had no idea what to do. One was the doorway. Obviously, I have a good shape of what it's supposed to be. The only issue is the lighting next to the doorway and running along the side. So, of course, what I'm probably going to be doing is I'm going to be running off of the good old basic lantern post or light post, just like that. Or, if I think about it, I could keep this idea, just so that way I have fire pits running all the way down. Except I can't have it running all the way down the center road. So, starting from this point, stretching all the way from one beacon to the other, all has to be flattened, all back through these 6 different sections, back to here. And unfortunately, this is not all that I have to dig out. In order for me to make the terrain look neat and for this to actually come out very clean, I have to push the terrain back even further so that way I can make the land basically ascend very evenly, and so that way it's not going to be a pain in the neck or look very disgusting like it does over next to the barracks. I don't want to just have the land shoot straight up 4 to 5 blocks in the air compared to the walking distance. I want to actually make sure that everything looks a little bit more natural. And like I said, that's going to be taking a little bit more time, especially since I have a frickin' mountain right here. So that's going to be fun, trying to go ahead and get that done. But other than that, it's mostly me just laying everything else out, trying to go ahead and pinpoint where everything is supposed to be, because as soon as, like I said before, the main structure is done, it's mostly just me putting up the rooms in the main tower, fixing the 2 floors in the main structure of this entire castle. I have to go ahead and fill in about 2 different floors in the barracks on both sides, and the courtyard. That is basically it. Everything else below is going to be mostly staying the same way, except for the minecart system that will be running back and forth between the main structure and all the structures that are branching out from next to it, and that will basically be the entire build. So yeah, it is going to be taking a while. So if I could get this entire structure done within the year before May, it would have taken me 1 year just to get this one structure done. And mostly, I probably wouldn't even consider the courtyard as a part of the structure, but at the same time, since it's attached to it, I would still technically consider it as a part of the main build. So I have this split off into 3 separate areas. So the first build is this section. The second build is the dungeon and the mines, which I don't think you were... Did you see the dungeon and the mine yet? You went down all the way to the left of the castle? Yeah, dungeons and mines are a separate structure. Dungeon is going to be right here, and the design is going to be a lot different from the tower in the main structure. The bottom is going to be basically, I don't know if it's going for a more rectangular or square-like structure, but it's going to have a large square structure, a smaller square structure, and the tower itself is going to be a cylinder. Now, coming all the way over here, I was able to go ahead and have the wonderful opportunity to finding not only one cavern, but 2 caverns attached end to end. So, what I'm going to have above this entire opening is a giant hexagon-shaped mine. And what I'm going to have is I'm going to have the mine carts running through here, and there's going to be an entirely separate system that's going to be running underground. So, this is why that each build is probably going to be a year in itself. Or, it could be 2 years, with 1 year doing the main structure, and another year doing the dungeon, the mine, the garden, and the farm. Which, yeah, well, the best part about the garden and the farm is that because it's a snow biome, all of it's going to be closed off with the from the rest of the terrain. So if I could go all the way over here, basically right side of the, or when you're walking towards the castle, it's going to be on the left side. There is the Raiders Tower, which is basically going to destroy that. Go ahead and recreate the entire area and the tower itself. As far as flattening the terrain, though, I don't think I'm really going to be doing that. But there is a website online where I can actually build an entire dome where I could basically put the farm in. And the garden itself, what I may have to do is flatten this entire area, fill this shallow area in with dirt, and have this entire area as a garden, with the exterior wall going all the way out that way. And I think you're completely lost, aren't you? You went to the red beacon? Then you're not that far from me. If you're at the red beacon, you're not far from me. There are 2 red beacons. One's in the middle of the lake, or the harbor. Go towards that one, and I'm right here. In the bay. In the middle of the bay. And then I'm right here. So yeah, 1 year for doing the main structure, and then 2 years for doing any branching structure that's coming straight off of the main structure. And again, this is only one project. I just sat on my cat. I seriously just let the cat in, and he runs straight up into my chair, and usually he runs onto my bed first, which is why I wasn't even thinking about sitting down. So, that's all going to be remade. As far as this goes, which I've never really seen here before, I don't know if I'm going to patch this up, or if I'm going to go ahead and leave it like this, because technically this may be a part of the garden instead of the farm. And I've been seeing a lot of these caves running just a few blocks underneath the ground level, so I guess I could just go ahead and put carts here and there. But yeah, so it's pretty much really big, really big project. And I believe I had my brother helping me just a tiny bit with trying to get rid of some of the stone and dirt in some of the areas, but that was basically it. He doesn't really want to help me with this project at all. I mean, I wouldn't blame him. I mean, yes, it's a big project, but if I had, let's say, technically I could have up to 8 players on this map. So, having 8 different players and giving them each a separate job, this could be done in almost no time at all. But, unfortunately, I don't have 8 players, so I'm just going to be doing all of it single-handedly and seeing where it takes me. So, for all of you that are watching, again, comment section down below if you want to go ahead and have me put the middle pillar in between each and every single set of pillars. Please let me know. If not, and you think that just having the 4 pillars in each section would give it more of a fantasy look, please let me know, again, in the comment section down below, because apparently I can't make up my own mind of whether or not I want to add the 5th pillar or just leave the 4 pillars in each square. Because, again, there is a lack of lighting. It does make the castle look a little bit creepier, which is supposed to be the main point, but it's not supposed to be a frickin' Horror Nights. So, again, your opinion. You go ahead, put it in the comment section, do whatever you want. And if you have any advice for any other sources of lighting, and by sources of lighting I mean natural. Glowstone is not a real block in real life. It's not a real life block, so can't really get glowstone in real life. And I'm guessing, Matt, you're having a wonderful time racing around the entire castle. I should turn this into freaking Daytona instead of a castle. But anyways, again, whatever you guys think or whatever you guys have any suggestions for, please let me know. And if you have any advice that you'd like to give me for getting rid of this or adding anything new to the castle, please, once again, let me know in the comment section down below. If you want to go ahead and see more videos like this, please go ahead, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification button, and you'll be notified every single time I'm uploading a video or doing a live stream. And, of course, as always, I will see all of you in the next video. Bye-bye.